All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a huge shift that's happening in the world of work. A shift where mastering big data is no longer just a nice-to-have skill. For anyone in vocational education and training, it's becoming absolutely essential. And let's start with why this really truly matters to you. A brand new OECD report just dropped, and it says that how well you understand data can now predict your salary and job security almost as well as basic math skills can. Yeah, we're talking a direct link to your paycheck. The stakes are that high. So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the skills gap and why it's a problem. Then, we'll get into the tools you need to know. After that, we'll see how data is changing whole industries, look at how a workshop can get you up to speed, and finally lay out how you can get started. Okay, first up, the data-driven skills gap. Let's really dig into the why. Why this sudden urgency for all these data skills? Well, there's a growing divide between what industry really needs and what a lot of training programs are currently offering.
At this slide, this really nails the problem. On one side, you have educational programs, where updating the curriculum can literally take years. But on the other side, you've got industries that are moving at light speed, creating brand new jobs, like green hydrogen technicians that need new skills like yesterday. That gap, that lag time, that's where the trouble starts.
And this gap isn't just theoretical. It has very real consequences. You get trainees graduating without the skills employers are actually looking for. You have businesses that are desperate to launch data projects but can't find the people to do it. You've got trainers who are stuck teaching an old playbook. The whole system just can't keep up. It's a massive headache for absolutely everyone involved. Okay, so we get the problem. Now, what do we do about it? Let's get into the solution. This is all about the what. What are the core ideas and the actual tools you need to know to start closing that skills gap? So what even is big data? Let's forget all the jargon for a second. In the VET world, it's pretty simple. It's any data that's just too big, too fast, or too weird for a standard spreadsheet to handle. Think about the non-stop data pouring out of a CNC machine, or trying to sift through thousands of job descriptions online to find a pattern. That's big data in action. And to really get a handle on it, you got to understand what are called the 5 V's. You have volume, which is just the massive scale of it all. Velocity, the insane speed it comes at you. Variety, meaning it's not just numbers. It could be text, images, sensor readings. Then there's veracity, which is all about making sure your data is accurate and trustworthy. But the most important one? It's value. It's about turning all that raw information into something that actually makes a difference. And these are the game-changing tools. You've got SQL for asking smart questions of your data, Hadoop for storing and crunching data sets so huge they'd melt a normal computer, and Power BI for taking all those numbers and turning them into visual stories that people can actually understand. Mastering these is what takes you from being a task taker to a true problem solver. All right, enough with the theory. Let's see what this actually looks like when the rubber hits the road. We're going to dive into 3 case studies from totally different sectors to see just how powerful these data skills are right now. First up, let's head to the factory floor with Nexteer Automotive. They had a classic manufacturing problem. How do we stop making faulty parts and reduce the time our expensive machinery is just sitting there doing nothing? A super common and super costly challenge. And their solution was incredible. By analyzing streams of data coming off their machines, they built models that could predict a product defect before it even happened, with a 95% confidence level. I mean, think about that. It's like seeing into the future of your production line. So what was the result? Well, they had less waste from scrap parts, their machines were running more often, more of their products passed quality control on the first try, and, no surprise, their customers were a whole lot happier. That's a clear, tangible win, all driven by data. Okay, now let's switch gears completely and look at GSK Biopharma. Their challenge in Irvine was a bit different. They wanted to use data to go green, to fine-tune their energy use and slash their carbon emissions. And by modeling their energy data, they not only got better forecasts and lowered their carbon footprint, but they could also test out big ideas. Things like, what would happen if we installed solar panels? They could see the impact before spending a single dollar on the actual equipment. That is smart, data-driven strategy. For our last stop, let's look at healthcare. You've got huge institutions like the Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic, and they were facing a massive logistical nightmare with their supply chains. How do we make sure we don't run out of absolutely critical supplies? And their solution really proves that big data is for everyone, not just tech firms.
They used analytics to predict shortages ahead of time, they automated all the boring data entry, and in the end, they saved billions of dollars. And maybe most importantly, it freed up their highly trained staff to do what they do best, focus on patients.
So, you've seen the why, you've seen the what, and you've seen the incredible real-world impact. Now let's get to the most important question of all, the how. How do you actually build these skills yourself in a practical, hands-on way? You know, I love this analogy. Thinking of raw data as crude oil is perfect. On its own, it's messy, it's kind of useless. The skill you learn in a workshop is how to be the refinery. You learn how to clean it, process it, and turn that raw stuff into high-performance fuel that powers smart, actionable insights.
And a good workshop gives you a clear, structured roadmap for doing just that. It walks you through the entire journey, from figuring out the right question to ask, to gathering the data, cleaning it up, exploring it, and finally, delivering a complete project. It's an end-to-end experience that's designed to feel just like a real-world assignment.
And here we are, our final section. We have covered a ton of ground. Now it's time to put it all together and equip you with the mindset and the practical first steps to start your own data journey, beginning today. First things first, let's bust a huge myth right now. Do you need to be some kind of math wizard to do this? No, absolutely not. If you got some basic skills with spreadsheets, you have more than enough to get started, honestly. The modern tools we've been talking about, they're built to do all the heavy lifting in complex math for you. So what can you do right now to get going? It's simple. First, pick one small project, but see it through from start to finish. Second, always start with a clear question. What are you trying to figure out? Third, write down your assumptions as you go. Fourth, team up with someone who's an expert in a different area. And finally, and this is so important, always put ethics at the center of everything you do. And that's a wrap. Look, you now have the framework, you know the key tools, you've seen the kind of incredible impact this can have across completely different industries. The only thing left to do is to begin. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What's the first pivotal question that you are going to ask?